Welcome everybody. We've got some fun people today and smart too. But I'm excited about today because I got to meet and talk to Tim for the first time. Tim, you have an amazing background for YouTube videos, man. Look at this. When did you set this up?
I've been building this over the last few months. I had to up the game, and I do get a lot of compliments. I got a couple lights here, a couple lights there, a couple in the background.
Yeah. You
Whatever I can
stand
do to
out a
make this
lot.
face look nice.
It looks good, buddy. We'll ask
Thank
we'll
you.
ask all the details of it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But we've got Nelson here from Agent Fire.
Yeah, my
Yes.
thanks, Tristan. Not Agent Image, Agent Fire,
Yeah,
and
no,
yeah, and yeah, my background absolutely sucks. I'm traveling this week. I'm actually for any of you guys that know Mike Del Preet, he's a really awesome guy. If you don't know him, should follow him. But yeah, I'm at a real estate innovation hub event, so traveling this week. But yeah, let's get into some quick intros. So yeah, I think it sounds like you guys already know everyone. I'm Nelson. I'm the CEO of AgentFire. Tristan, of course, needs no introduction, and Tim Harvey. So Tim is the CEO. He's the former COO, right, of
Correct.
Curator, and is the current CEO of FlyDragon. And so FlyDragon, in my opinion, is doing some of the coolest stuff when it comes to AEO for real estate agents. The reason we're having this webinar is because Tim has been having a lot of really good success with a bunch of our clients. So I've had clients reach out to me saying, "Hey, you got to get Tim onto a webinar." And then Tim sent an email a couple of weeks ago, and that email was about how he was able to get himself ranked number one in his market. And Tim does about 2 transactions a year. His focus is
No, if I can correct you,
oh,
Nelson, 2 transactions ever. It's even worse than you
lifetime.
think.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. So I actually had our team correct that because we were saying lifetime, and I had to correct it to two. I apologize. So yeah. So he's actually even worse than I thought, which is how we came up with the title for this this webinar. Which is how we were able to get the worst agent in America, which is Tim. Obviously, having fun with that. But how were we able to get him to, or how he was able to get himself to number one in his market over some really big agents, some really high volume, actually well known. I'll say like so. Bill Gassett is one of them. Um, Anyways, big agents, and Tim is able to get himself number one in ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini. I believe
Gemini,
those.
all of them.
Yeah.
Copilot, Google's AI mode, Google AI
Oh, okay.
overview,
Even more than I
Perplexity.
knew. Whoa. Okay. So yeah. So that's obviously pretty incredible. Everyone wants to know how you did it. So that's what we're going to be covering in today's webinar. So with that being said, Tim, I'll give it to you. You should have share controls too, so you can share the
Perfect.
webinar
Well, I'm
slides.
going to share my screen then. We're going to get going because we got a lot of ground to cover.
Yep.
And I want to make sure we maximize our time. While I'm pulling this up, do me a favor, drop in the chat, drop a number one in the chat if you have received a phone call from a buyer or seller because they said they found you using ChatGPT or Gemini or any of these models. Drop a two if it hasn't happened yet. Seeing some responses come in. What do we got here? Got a lot of twos, a couple of ones. Okay. All right, mixed audience. I like it. Okay, so like Tristan was, Nelson was mentioning, yes, I have a license. I am the most underwhelming agent in existence. I've been in real estate marketing for 10 years now. So I got a license to just walk a mile in your shoes. I walked 12 feet and said, this is way too hard. I'm not going to do this. But no, I got it because I've been doing the marketing work. So because I had this license, I thought, well, why don't we use me, the team use me as the test kitchen, right, as a sandbox. And if I can get myself to rank, this can really work for any agent in theory. And the reason why we did this is because I've done enough of these webinars over the last 14 months, ever since AI visibility has become a discipline. I would have those questions on the webinar. Hey, I'm not the top producing agent. I'm not even on page one of Zillow when you look at my market. Is this even possible for me? Like, harder in theory, yeah, sure. Maybe it takes more time. So maybe it takes more off-page authority building. But let me see if I can do this for myself. And so I was able to do this. And just to show you a few shots here. So like Nelson was saying, this is Perplexity. Tim Harvey is quote unquote the best agent. It's a subjective question to be asking. Gemini, Tim Harvey is first over some well-established agents in my area of Massachusetts. This is Gemini. There I am again. Here is Google's AI mode, not an AI overview, AI mode. And Microsoft Copilot. Here I am again. You can see here, rating 5.0, 2 reviews. 2 5-star reviews. Pretty embarrassing. So I know I'm not the archetype, and I'm going to talk more about you, the full-time agent and what you can be doing to get into the answers today. Before I do, this is some original research that 1000 Watt, they put out some amazing research in our industry. And so this just dropped in January, so it's brand new. In December, they surveyed 1,500 buyers and sellers, and there's a lot in this survey in this research. I just pulled out 3 numbers that I really cared about. The first was half of those 1,500 said they used AI chatbots in their real estate process, which Realtor.com's put out similar data. That wasn't new to me, but the follow-on question I found very interesting. Of that 50%. About 2/3 of them used AI specifically to find and evaluate the real estate agent. That's impressive. That's important. 22% said AI had 0 impact on selecting an agent, which means almost 80% of them said at some level, whether they just trusted AI's recommendation or perhaps they verified, like, hey, this person, my friend, family referred me to Tim Harvey. Is he the best agent? And 80% are using them. So let that sink in. There are so many buyers and sellers today using AI to find and evaluate their agent. So for the time we have today, for the next, call it 50 minutes, I'm going to give you everything that you need to become the agent that AI recommends. I'm going to start here with a story. So I mentioned me. I'm not the archetype here, but this person is. This is Brian Kaplicki. He's out of Middletown, New York. So he's appearing first in ChatGPT, Gemini, there he is again, Brian. We got him here in Perplexity. And this is Grok. This looks like Grok. Grok always has their icon way too far outside the screenshot. And Google's AI mode. This is Tracy on the team. So this is, to give you the story, it was right around, actually, January 31st. So I send her an email. Our team sends her an email, says, okay, congratulations. After 3 or 4 months, because this doesn't happen overnight. This takes work. But I'm going to give you all the answers here today. So after 3 or 4 months working with the Kaplicki home team, I reach out to Tracy and the team and say, okay, here's where we have Brian today. Let us know when the phone rings. 8 days later, she reaches out and says, hey, we just got a 400K listing in Middletown, 12K GCI. What you don't see here is actually she came back to me a few days later, maybe a week later, and said, hey, it's sold for 100K over the ask, 15K GCI. Then 3 weeks after that, another $500,000 listing. So $30,000 in GCI from just about 3 weeks post being in the answers. So this is how quick this happens. So I like to call it AI SEO. Everybody likely knows what traditional search engine optimization is. That time horizon is 6 to 12 months minimum before that aha moment. This moves so much faster. This is why I fell in love with AI SEO. This is why we were first to real estate to offer this as a service to agents. So the first thing I'm going to give you, and we're going to go through 3 or 4 of these, I'll call them pillars. The first thing that you need to do is perfect your AI presence. This is the boring stuff. We'll get into the good stuff after, but it's boring, but it's super important. I've got another question to ask. Drop in the chat if you've ever changed brokerages, move your license, or changed a physical address, change your phone number. Have you ever changed information? I see a no. That's probably the 3rd time I've ever seen that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of yeses. I'd say 98% of agents at some point have changed some contact information or their brokerage. If this looks like you, this is Zillow on the left, Realtor.com in the middle, Google Business Profile on the right. If this looks like you are confusing the machines, both search engines and AI alike. So you can see here for this is a real example. We've cleaned this up for her, so she's good now. I could probably unredact her information. She's appearing in the answers. But you can see a different phone number across all 3 of these profiles, these 3 directories, and a different address across all 3 as well, which is super confusing. So when you confuse the models, it makes it hard for AI to verify that you are all one business. Because in fact, you look like multiple businesses. You need to have like one unified version of you. And if you don't, AI is going to skip over you to the next agent who is easy to verify. So you need to be one business, one identity, one entity even. So what I would do, this is like homework number 1, is go to all these directories. There's probably a couple dozen, right? Zillow, Realtor.com, your Google Business Profile, Yelp, Rate My Agent, Fast Expert, Homes.com, anywhere that you have a profile and you know that you've at some point moved, go check this information and update where you should. Because sometimes just cleaning up, your NAP, right? NAP, name, address, phone number. Sometimes that's enough to get you into the answers. So again, this looks like you are 100% confusing the language models. The second thing I want to talk about in terms of your AI visibility is your bio. I'm sure a lot of you aren't updating your bios every year. And even if you are, it probably isn't what I would call machine friendly. We write subjectively. Maybe it's, enjoyable. Maybe it's useful to the buyer or seller, the human, to understand a little bit about you. Hey, I like to golf. I like to do jujitsu. Is that helpful for the machines trying to answer the question, who is the best? The answer is no. You can't measure that. And so
But
my
it's good for me, Tim. It's good for my ego. Okay.
yeah, maybe it's about us. We're putting what we want people to know about us. Yeah, Nelson's bio would say, I've got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Do the machines care about that data point when determining who the best agent is in his market? Probably not. So to make it simple for AI, just to call out a few things here that I've highlighted, passion for real estate and unwavering commitment to client satisfaction, unparalleled dedication to her clients, profound market knowledge. How do you measure that? It's probably all true, but how do you measure that? You can't. Over here, we have Richard Berman, we work with in Reno, 425 total career sales, 43 million closed in 2024. This is an old screenshot. 305 five-star reviews. You can measure that. His awards are even in here. And so I'd like everybody to take a look at your bio and make it machine friendly. And I'm gonna make it easy for you. I'll throw a QR code up here on the screen. Now, I tested all these QR codes, so they all better work here today. But this prompt here is going to give you the instructions to use to author a machine-friendly bio. So take that output from AI. You're going to go update all those directories that I mentioned. You're going to update your website, and you're going to give more data, right? Another at-bat to AI, because it's reading everything public. It's looking at websites. It's looking at public Facebook groups, looking at Reddit. Certainly reading your bios. So don't miss that opportunity to give more meat on the bone to AI to choose you. Give everybody a couple of seconds here to scan. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, semantic triples. Subject, expertise, location. Another way to phrase that would be who you are, what you do, and where you do it. So Tim Harvey is the best real estate agent in Upton, Massachusetts. Nelson is the best condo real estate agent in Miami. Nate Clark is the best probate real estate agent in Austin, Texas. So I'd like you to also think about what's called semantic triples. Like what is your expertise? What is your specialty? How can you weave that into the bio? How can you weave that into your website content, which we're going to get to here in a few slides. And so I want to tell another story really quickly. If you are not, let's say you're in a competitive market, Nate Clark is. So quick story on Nate. Him and I have known each other for 10 plus years. He moved to Austin, was not a real estate agent. 9 years ago, moves to Austin, gets his license, and he's done decent, but it's a competitive market. So a lot of you are probably in an Austin, Texas market and not in an Upton, Massachusetts market. I'm out in the sticks. And so I told him, hey, Nate, I'm just going to shoot you straight. We could probably get you appearing in the answers for Austin. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of time. It's just, there's so many agents that have more than 100 transactions across their career. They've done, they're in real estate more than 9 years. They have hundreds of reviews. We can influence the answers, but at the end of the day, the competition is stiff. So what I recommended for him is, why don't we niche down? Is there a key neighborhood that you work in? The answer was no. Works all over Austin. Okay, I'm thinking again, okay, what about a specialty such as probate? So I threw that out there and he said, oh, actually, I do a lot of probate sales. Like, perfect. Let's niche down and compete where I think we can win and deliver the fastest ROI, get you in the answers as quick as possible. And so on the left here, when you're asking Google who's the best probate real estate agent in Austin, you can see he's in the AA overview. And also his website, a page that we created for him, is the first organic result. Great placement, great place to be. In ChatGPT, it's got his headshot, very young looking headshot in the bottom corner here, but he's appearing first in ChatGPT as the best probate real estate agent. Now that may feel very niche, very specific. Is the phone even going to ring? And the answer is yes, it did actually happen really quickly. So what you can't see up here, this is a screenshot from my phone. I sent him, we were texting on, I want to say it was December 30th or the 31st, like the very tail end of the year. I sent him a quick loom. I'm excited. Hey, we've got you in a lot of great places for the best probate real estate agent in Austin. And 2 weeks later, he sent, you can't read this screenshot he sent me, but it's probate sale. It's a 1.2 or $1.4 million listing that he won. He's really happy. I'm really happy. And this is the second, if not, I'm sorry, he said two, if not three listings since then, since January. So he's had several closings from just focusing on probate, best probate agent. So that's just a call to action to everybody. Hey, if you're in this competitive market and you don't think you can compete where you can win, think about your semantic triples and double down there.
So Tim, I'm thinking about this for, let's say Malibu, right? I'm right here.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying all of Malibu, instead of saying Malibu Beach, you want me to get down into the beaches. So I want to talk about
Exactly.
Carbon Beach. I want to talk about Zuma. I want to talk about these and just go all in on one beach that has the highest chance of me getting those calls.
Yeah, and spot on, Tristan. I think we tend to want to cast a wide net and just go for gold here. I wouldn't do that. I would recommend niching down. If you work a particular neighborhood in a larger market, focus on there, land and expand. So once you get, I'm going to get into more here, but once you get into the answers for that one beach in your example, then you can start to think about how you can broaden the scope.
Well, dude, all it really takes is so what you're doing, Tim, because I'm a social media brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to niche down on social media in order for me to blow up because all it takes is 1, 2 viral videos. And Nelson will tell you the same thing. All it takes is 1 or 2 viral videos on that niche to expand your audience to everyone. So you're
Spot on.
saying do the exact same thing here, and then you'll be able to do just sold, open houses, and then everybody will be like, oh shit, Tim's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you narrowed down. I love this, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We work with 100 agents across the US and Canada. I don't know if I mentioned that. And my recommendations to them, and I talk to every agent before we work with them. I look at their market. I look at where they are today. How do they stack rank to the competition? That helps me dictate what the strategy is going to be. Well, based on you being a top producer, yeah, we can go after all of this major metro market or not. Hey, tell me what neighborhoods you work in, what specialties you have. Let's focus there because I think you're going to be happier with the results if we niche down and expand later. Okay, so kind of wrapping up this first pillar. So again, everywhere AI can find your brand, make everything consistent. You want one unified version of you everywhere. Your bio, the directories you're on, the information that's on the directories, right? Thinking about the semantic triples. And so this is kind of sort of like the complete picture. Now, I don't have all the icons here, not enough screen space here, but the top one, if you're not familiar, or the bottom one even, that's Fast Expert, that's Rate My Agent. This is a call to action. If you have not claimed your profiles there, I would go there, claim them. They're free. They're heavily cited, especially by ChatGPT. So they're not just looking at Zillow. They're not just looking at Yelp or Homes.com or Realtor.com. ChatGPT is looking at Fast Expert and Rate My Agent quite a bit. So you have all of your directories, all consistent information. You look like one entity. That's step one of getting into the answers.
Yeah, I'll just share real quick too. AgentFire pops up a lot. I'm sorry, I see Tristan had your hand raised. I should have gone to you first. I'll just say quickly, AgentFire pops up a lot for number one or best real estate website solution. We pop up a lot number one over. There's one company in particular. I won't say their name, but they're a lot bigger than us. And a big reason for that is just how many different review platforms we're on and how good our reviews are on those platforms. And so this is where, in terms of like trust factors, like that chatbots can actually trust and something that will never change. It's having a lot of reviews and having a really high overall rating on those platforms and try to be across different, not just a single platform, but try to be on multiple platforms.
Yeah, if I can expand on that, I don't even talk about reviews here, but it is 100% an important ranking factor, Nelson. Years ago, 2017 at Curator, I was telling agents, up until then it was Zillow, right? Just get your reviews on Zillow, maybe Realtor.com. Then it was Facebook. It was the first social platform, social media platform where you were getting reviews. We were coaching agents, get your reviews here. This is when Facebook ads blew up. Then maybe 2019, 2020, it was Google Business Profile. Hey, get into the map pack. You want to be in the top 3 of the map pack. And so now what I'm saying is you've got to diversify. It's not the best advice, and it's not the most welcome, because you're like, wait, I've got to get reviews everywhere now. Yeah, you do. Unfortunately, you do. You have to get reviews on Zillow. You have to get reviews on Google Business Profile. You need them on Yelp. You need to have a footprint everywhere. Now, the good news, Zillow syncs with Fast Expert Rate My Agent, meaning if you get a review on Zillow and you've claimed those 2 profiles, that review is automatically going to go to Rate My Agent and Fast Expert. So you're getting 3 reviews for 1 without having to pester your clients. So again, claim those profiles, because reviews and production certainly are ranking factors. Tristan, did you have a thought?
Is this something, this is for you, for your company, is this something that you start off with helping us, or we have to do this before we go to you? What do you recommend?
The first thing it's funny, the order I'm going through here is exactly the order that we take with agents. So day
Got it.
number 1, when an agent moves forward with us, we're manually auditing all of these, 2 or 3 dozen different directories and saying, hey, you haven't claimed these. There are a few, ambiguous ones you wouldn't think of, maybe experience.com or Rate My Agent. We call that out, and then the next thing we do is we look at all the directories and say, this information is inconsistent. The agent's updating them. Try to do it for them, but you hit 2-factor, you get locked out. So we just make it easy for them to go step by step, update each of those directories. Yeah, great question.
Yeah, I want to say too, I mentioned this in the chat, but just regarding Tim services, and something I love about Tim is we're both big fans of Alex Hormozy. And so what Tim's showing today, you don't need to pay Tim for it. You don't need an agent for a website for it. He's showing you the exact steps that you can take and exactly how he was able to get himself ranked #1 without you needing to necessarily purchase his services. His philosophy, my philosophy is just kind of show the exact implementation. Sorry, Tim, what's the Hormozy line?
You give away the secrets, you sell the implementation. So if you don't want to do this yourself, we can do it for you, but I'm going to give you everything you need to do this yourself. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we cleaned up the house, so to speak. The foundation's clean. Now we got to talk about the AI content framework. More content does not necessarily mean more traffic. You hear it a lot today. There are companies out there. I mean, AI has lowered the bar, right? It's leveled the playing field. It's never been easier to create content. And so I see agents, even in Facebook groups, talking about publishing hundreds of new blogs and pages every single month. See companies offering that as a service because it scales. It's easy to do. I would venture to say that these websites are probably not getting that much traffic. They probably just have a lot more words on their website. AI thinks of content as proof, put it that way. I think agents, we think of content as posts. AI is looking at it as proof. And so this is it's a dumbed down version to keep it simple for everybody here. This is the complete picture of the content that you should have at a minimum on your website. So we've got experience, we have recency, we have relevance. The experience column, and the first 2, by the way, these are pages. The 3rd column, blogs. So the first column, you've got to prove that you are the best in your market through the content on your website. Recency, you've got to prove that you are active. You're actively transacting in your market. And relevance, these blogs, you've got to prove that you are the local authority. So this is all about building what's called topical relevance on your website. Nelson, I know AgentFire. If you have AgentFire, I know a lot of these are already kind of done for you. You have an IDX, so check. You have listing pages. I know AgentFire has sold galleries, so that's there. And you have a new AEO feature for FAQs, I believe.
Yeah, essentially, what we did is we created a feature. We're calling it just AEO discoverability, but essentially, it's so like when it comes to surfacing your website and the pages on your website to these different chatbots, you want to have what's called structured data or like metadata, and that sounds complicated. I don't want to scare anyone, but essentially, it's like saying, so for example, when you have an FAQ, it's telling chatbots, it's telling Google like, hey, this is an FAQ, this is a question, this is an answer, and so it helps that stuff get indexed better, and so that's going to help the overall discoverability of these pages and how much AI is able to kind of go into your website and be able to use this stuff to help influence your ranking, if that makes sense. So what we did with our feature, it's not so much a feature as it is just most people don't understand AEO, they don't understand metadata. So we've just taken all the different metadata that's in all the different pages on your website. We've kind of collected it into like a single place. We've created toggles where you can turn some sort of stuff on and off, and that's automated. But then we're also just trying to help educate on like what sort of things are most helpful when it comes to AEO, when it comes to just getting your website surfaced for chatbots.
Well, I would love to see that feature at some point. So the good news is a lot of these pages, I guess if you have AgentFire, they're already done for you. A couple of others to call out here. Best realtor page. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to show you an example of that. These blogs. So think of it like this, proving that you are the authority, you know everything about your market. Think of what is the cost of living, specifically answering questions. What is the cost of living in Upton? Is Upton safe? Reasons to move to Upton, pros and cons of living in Upton. Upton versus Westboro, Upton versus Hopkinton, neighboring towns. Things to do in Upton. What are the best neighborhoods in Upton? And you expand on that on your website. It's all about going deep. It's all about having very helpful content. It's not duplicate. It's not thin. It's not spammy. This is how you build a topical authority on your website. We call it a semantic content network. Fancy word just to say a lot of content on your website. So let me show you a couple of examples. So here's one from the blog category there. The pros and cons of living on Douglas Lake. It's a blog that we wrote for a client in East Tennessee. Douglas Lake is part of her market. This is, hopefully you can see this. It's not too zoomed in, but I asked ChatGPT, what are the pros and cons of living on Douglas Lake? And what I've highlighted here, again, I don't even know if I mentioned this, so I shouldn't say again, but AI is not making up this answer. It's not coming to this conclusion. It's going to trusted sources, trusted sites, largely, that it knows, it trusts, and it's snippeting information. So what I highlighted here is Caitlin's citations. There are, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different opportunities here. She's in good company. I don't know what the DEST is, but you'll often see government websites. Again, these are websites with authority that the models already trust, that the search engines already trust. And Caitlin's effectively writing this answer. And it's not just one page. I wrote this down. It's 4 separate pages here, being cited 7 times. It was the pros and cons of living on Douglas Lake. That's a specific blog. The ultimate guide to living on Douglas Lake. Reasons, living in Douglas Lake is another one. And then best neighborhoods in Douglas Lake. So you can see it's not just one blog. If a lot of these blogs are targeting different keywords, but they're linking to each other so the machines understand the hierarchy, you're getting these AI citations. Why it's so important, and she's getting more than 300 every month, is because to us, this is a lead indication. When we start to see a website that had no AI citations, meaning ChatGPT, Gemini, they're not looking at your website for the answer because it either doesn't exist or it's not helpful, it's too thin, it's duplicate. When we start to see the citations, it's a lead indication that your website is seen as having authority and you're more likely to be recommended by AI. So hopefully that makes sense. And it's not just these AI citations or AI mentions, right? It's also a little bit of that traditional SEO as well. So when you're asking what are the pros and cons of living on Douglas Lake, you can see she's the first organic result, which is very powerful. Great placement. And this is not our focus, but it's an added bonus. And we get this question all the time from agents who are interested in FlyDragon. Hey, am I going to get organic traffic? The answer is yes. Although to me, it's more of a vanity metric or just a nice to have, but it's a prerequisite to getting those AI citations. Because where's AI getting its information? A lot of it comes from page 1 of Google. Not all of it. Some of it is, page 3, page 5. Depends on how specific the question is and how helpful, that page or blog is. But you can see your traffic graph since starting to work with us back in April of last year, just about a year ago now. And I'll also say this, most real estate agent websites don't have a lot of organic traffic because they've never invested in SEO. It's hard to get traffic, without intention. And so for if you're focusing on following what I'm giving you today and building these pages, building these blogs out, your traffic graph should start to look like a hockey stick over time. So it's an added bonus. You're getting the AI citations, but you're also getting organic traffic to your website, which is never a bad thing. And rounding the corner, of course, most importantly, it results in business. So there's a 6-week window here where she had 1.2 million in appointments, and in January alone, she had 2 closings. So over time, right? Like this really does start to pay off. The other example, here's that best realtor page I said I'd come back to. And this is a page I want everybody to create, by the way, and I'm going to help you with that. So who's the best realtor in Cypress, California? This is Chase Whitney. If anybody knows the Real Estate Collective or the lab
Hello,
events. Chase, shout out to Chase.
AgentFire client. Yep.
Oh, is he? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. I didn't even do that on purpose. That's awesome. He's on the right website.
Why do you think he knows what he's doing?
I thought it was all me. I thought it was me. It turns out it's Nelson. Oh man.
Let's get with it. Yeah.
All right, I'll take half the credit. All right, so we create the page for him, the best realtor page, and he's in the answers. He's appearing first here. This is Gemini. He's appearing first now. He wasn't before. He is now, and it's citing this particular page. And I'll come back to the page in a second. So it's more than just creating the page. We're not creating content for content's sake. What do we all care about? GCI. And so he gets this listing appointment. I don't know how long after we created the page, maybe a month. Phone rings, gets a listing appointment. Wrote that down to, I want to say it's 1.6. Yeah, 1.6 million. So about $50,000 in GCI. He won the listing, by the way. So he's pumped. I'm pumped for him. This QR code is going to take you right to his page. I want everybody to create this page on their website. Take a look at how it's structured. I would structure the H1, the heading one, the title of the page, the same way. The body, take a look at the body. It's essentially all proof points. Because again, it's a subjective question. Who is the best realtor? Well, you got to be able to substantiate the claim. And so the proof points would be, number of reviews that you have online, awards, recognition, accolades, how many sales in terms of volume and units in the last 12 months, how about across the career? Anything that could differentiate you from the competitors, that should be on that page. So go out and create that page. All right. I just told you what to create. I didn't tell you how to create it, but I'm going to help you also create this, all of these pages and blogs on your website. Lost my cursor here for a second. All right, so at FlyDragon, what we've done is, of course, we are writing with AI. We've developed this prompt system. We've engineered a lot of different prompts to write content for us. You get the output, but we do not stop there. We're not just publishing whatever AI writes for us. Although the prompts are fantastic, we still fundamentally believe human needs to remain in the loop. We need humans touching everything before that goes to the website, period. You have a thought on there, Nelson?
No, I just couldn't agree with that more. So many people are trying to just like full out replace humans with AI, and it's just like failing horribly. I have a whole, actually, at this event that I'm at, that's a big, I'm giving a 25-minute presentation on that specifically, just the importance of human in the loop. And yeah, anyway. Sorry.
Yeah. I do think companies are trying to get away with it because, again, it is so quick. It's quicker than humans. Oftentimes it can even write better than humans. But even before AI, with traditional SEO, you couldn't just write and then publish to the website and assume it's going to be on page one of Google or assume AI is going to cite it. So what we do, and this is what I recommend, is use AI, use the prompts, you get the output, but then you've got to, number one, read it. Did it hallucinate, right? Is there any incorrect information? It still happens, right? From time to time, even if you have amazing prompts like we do. Next, you've got to internally link, like strategically linking from one page to another page to help the search engines even understand the hierarchy of your website. Then what we do, anyway, we run it through AI detectors. Even though we're writing with AI, even though Google says they don't penalize for content that's written by AI, they don't care if it's written by a human or AI, so long as, so long as, it's not too thin, it's not duplicate, it's not spammy. Is it helpful? Is it comprehensive? You could be on page one. Just to be safe, we run it through AI detection to make sure we're at 0% likely written by AI. And then what we do is we compare it to the page's ranking for that keyword on page one of Google today. We use software for this, but we're looking at commonalities. All these pages on page one of Google, what commonalities do they have in the page title or the meta description or the H1, H2s, H3s, the body even? And so the human's doing this. Okay, I need to pull these words here, pull these words there. Only then do we feel confident in publishing that to the website. So we don't have enough time today to go through that. So instead, I'm going to give you the prompt we use and the instructions. So there's video instructions from my co-founder, Ryan Durrani, walking you through exactly how to use this prompt to create all those pages I just recommended you create. And I'll tell you, he is British, so he's much more enjoyable to listen to than I am. So go ahead and scan that QR code, get that prompt, and get to writing those blogs and pages. All right.
Tim, if people aren't able to scan it, will you be sending this out after?
Yeah, I'm going to send a replay with all relevant links. So we'll have the full replay video, we'll have the slides, we'll have the AgentFire update, AEO update, we'll have all links for all these QR codes. We'll give you everything.
No matter how many times I remind myself before I do a webinar to mention that at the beginning, I never do. So yeah, you'll get all the assets. Okay, one more QR code. Not the last, I think I have one more after this, but one more in this section. Another common question we get from agents today: hey, how important is YouTube? It's always been important, but YouTube is the number one citation, number one source in ChatGPT today. So it's increasingly important, but it's also hard to create video. I'm sure a lot of agents on today or listening to the recording struggle to stay consistent with it, or don't want to be on camera, don't know what to say. So this prompt, what this will do, so go in sequential order here. You wrote a blog on, let's say, best neighborhoods in, I don't know, Reno, Nevada. Now you have this blog on your website. This prompt, you're going to take this prompt, take that blog, and the output there will be a video script about the best neighborhoods in Reno, as well as an optimized title of the video and description for YouTube, just to take a little bit of pressure off you. Take one more rock out of your pack to make it easier for you to create video.
Mm.
All right, my last section here. Everything I just talked about in this last section, this previous section, was about building topical authority in your website. Now I can claim whatever I want. You could claim. Everything we do is above the board. I would recommend we all operate with integrity. Don't embellish. But the machines understand, in theory, I could claim that Chase Whitney has sold $3 billion in real estate across his career. It's because the search engines and AI understands this. It's looking to round out that opinion. Are there other websites with authority even, that are saying the same thing or saying something similar? So that's the last component. And I think agents always stop at the content aspect. If they're looking for organic traffic or even, appearing in the AI answers, they're thinking with blinders on just about content. It's important, it's necessary, but it's not the finish line. So this is a screenshot from WhiteSpark. It's a report, and we could probably send it out after the recording. I find it very useful. So WhiteSpark puts out this report every single year. They're asking the top 50 SEO experts across the globe. Like, these are very bright people. They understand local search, traditional search, and now AI search. So this is the first year this annual report had a section on AI search, because it didn't exist a year ago. That's how fresh this is. There are, for AI search visibility factors in particular, there are almost 200 ranking factors. There's a lot of ranking factors that go into it. I'm just looking at the top 10. But what I wanted to call out here is number one, 3, 4, 5, and 7 all have to do with off-page SEO, third-party mentions. So just to burn through this real quick. Yeah, this is really important. I don't think enough agents know about this or are doing anything about it. So the number one ranking factor, according to the top 50 SEO experts across the globe, they're saying that the presence of a business on an expert curated best of list is the number one ranking factor to be in the answers. So think of like listicles, top 10 agents in Orlando, Florida, getting on those lists, being number one on that list. I see, and this is true because I see these in the citations all the time when I'm doing my homework, and every day we're looking. We're probably doing this dozens of times a day in different markets, and we're seeing a lot of the same sources.
Tim?
And one of them, yeah, go ahead, Tristan.
Where does your Google business profile fall into these?
It's nowhere near the top 10. Now, there's a separate section on local SEO, it's all about Google Business Profile. I'd say this has much less to do with GMB. GMB does matter, but it also matters what model you're talking about. Like Gemini, Google's ecosystem, is certainly taking into account Google Business Profile, the number of reviews, how many 5-star reviews you have, even what's contained in the review. In fact, I've even seen, going back to the probate example, Richard Berman, who's in Reno, we've done some probate work for him. If you Google best probate real estate agent, you can see our work, but in the map pack, he's in there, and it's actually bolding the word probate that somebody left him reviews. So I'm going off on a tangent here, but nowhere near the top 10 for AI search visibility factors, Tristan. So that's number one. Number 3, prominence on key industry relevant domains. So think of this as, are you on page 1 of Zillow? If I go to find an agent and I type in Upton, I'm definitely not, but are you on page 1 of Zillow? So prominence on industry relevant domains. Number 4, quality and authority of unstructured citations. So think of an unstructured citation as just NAP, your name, your address, your phone number, mentioned somewhere in a blog post or an article or even a government website. So quality, like being on a domain with a lot of domain authority. Authority of third-party sites where reviews are present. Zillow, Fast Expert, Rate My. See, it's all kind of connected. Rate My Agent, Yelp, Realtor.com. Skipping ahead here, just number 10. All the way down at number 10 is the content structure across your website. So how is it structured? Is it optimized? That's hardly in the top 10. So is it important? Sure, it's 10 out of almost 200. But I want you to see how important the off-page SEO is. And really, it all boils down to third-party mentions. Third-party websites mentioning and linking to your business. So let me talk about a couple of them. This graph here, I've been out of high school for 20 some odd years. I think that's the y-axis, local relevance, x-axis being authority. The first one we're going to talk about is high authority, high local relevance, which is subreddit, Reddit. How many of you knew that Reddit was, this slide used to say is, but was the number one source of ChatGPT citations? It was up until about, talk to me, Tristan.
Well, I think people don't even realize it's the 7th most visited website in the world, which is crazy.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at the time. Yeah, I was actually talking with one of my co-founders, Ryan, the UK guy, and his finger's on the pulse. And this is a year ago as we're starting to dabble into Reddit. And I was like, who even uses Reddit? He's like, well, 1 billion people globally every month. Like, okay, that's a lot of people. So yeah, a lot of people use Reddit. Now I have my opinions on why Reddit is so heavily cited. I believe that the models, even search engines, they like user-generated content because you're getting the good, the bad, the ugly. What are we putting on our websites? The pros of living in, my market. I've had many agents ask me as we're working with them, hey, cool blog on the pros and cons, but can we remove all the cons? And I do my best to convince them not to do that because the buyers and sellers are going to find that answer. Might as well be your website, not your competitor's website. So yeah, you could put only good on your website, but they're going to find the answer somewhere. And Reddit is really good at that. It's neutral. You're going to get the good, bad, and the ugly. So that's my opinion on why Reddit was so heavily cited. But as you see here, as of February, this is kind of covering it here, but back in October, November, the blue line, it's YouTube, started shooting through the roof. So YouTube is actually cited more than Reddit. Now, Reddit's still important, still cited quite heavily, but this is why I'm saying don't sleep on YouTube either. If you've been waiting for the last possible minute to create videos, now's a good time. So subreddits, I can guarantee there are dozens of subreddits in your market, maybe even hundreds, depending on the size of your market. So you're going to see this is a Palm Springs example, moving to Palm Springs. Well, if you go back to the content, one of the blogs I recommended creating was reasons to move to Palm Springs. You now have this answer. So if you go to Reddit, you search for these subreddits, you're going to find questions that you have the answers to on your website. So what I would do here is I would basically give the TLDR version in your reply. Reddit seems to over-index on, substantive, meaty replies. So, more than a one sentence reply. Don't just plug yourself either. Oh, you moving to Palm Springs? I'm a real estate agent. It's probably not going to stick anyway. They'll probably pull that. But give the TLDR version of the blog, and you can link to the blog too. I also wrote a full blog on this. If you find it helpful, here you go. It's just like, Tristan, I know you're big on social. Back when Instagram became a thing, we're telling agents or answering the question agents present to us, why is nobody engaging on my content? Well, how often do you engage on, your followers' content? Not a lot. So get in there, right? Lead with intent. Just be helpful, I guess is my point. So find these local subreddits and join the conversation and answer these questions. Now you will find these. So, who's the best realtor in Palm Springs? So I found this. It says a month ago. This screenshot's probably 6 months old. So this is back when Reddit was still heavily in ChatGPT, a few models back. And I thought, okay, let me see if this thing actually works. So there's my name. So I jump in. And again, I'm not lying. I'm not embellishing. I take what I know about Paul Kaplan, one of our clients, and I say he's sold more than 1,500 homes. He's ranked the #1 team in the Valley. It's done more than $1 billion in career sales. Check him out. A few days go by. I go back to ChatGPT. And I'm seeing him in the answers. He wasn't there before. I'm like, oh, okay. What's causing this? So I read the citation. It's Reddit. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. That's verbatim. It's my quote. It's what I wrote. So this is not a call to action per se to go, find these opportunities. It's merely to show you that Reddit has been cited heavily by AI. So it's possible. Now, here's what I would do rather than self-promotion. Just like we ask our clients for reviews, if you do find this opportunity, maybe your clients are Reddit users. send them this thread and ask them to leave a testimonial here.
Yeah, I would just mention really quick too, like for people that are trying to understand, like, why is it that ChatGPT likes this platform over this platform? It all comes down to trust, and this is why reviews are always going to be such a big part of the for Chatbox and how they surface stuff, because reviews are just really hard to fake. Reddit is kind of the same thing. Like every group has moderators and then not only that, but then when people leave comments, you can either upvote or downvote. So then ChatGPT can assign more weight or more trust to comments that are upvoted, and so that's like essentially the framework that you should be thinking in terms of where am I going to get the most bang for my buck when it comes to authority online. It's just what can ChatGPT like trust the most.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. In fact, here's one more. So this was now 6 months ago. In that time frame, you heard me say that Reddit is no longer the number one, and every time a new model comes out, the results change a bit. So I wanted to see personally, can I still get something to stick? So I find this is Zach Seltzer. He's actually an AgentFire client. I believe he onboarded with you the same month he onboarded with us. I have this memory of him saying I'm migrating websites. So we kind of launched at the same time. So a week ago, so this is fresh. A week ago, here's this post looking for a real estate agent recommendation, looking for a strong listing agent. This is me. So I say Zach Seltzer. Again, I didn't say I used him. I just said you won't be disappointed. Super detail oriented, works hard for his clients. Here's some upvotes, like you were saying, Nelson. So this has been upvoted by other people, other Reddit users. And this is somebody else saying, I agree with Zach. I don't know who this is, Deanna. Super helpful. And then even linked to the website. So we got different accounts corroborating the story. There are a few other random, agent recommendations, but I gave it a few days. And then I went to Google and I asked, who's the top, or maybe it was the best, I don't remember, who's the best real estate agent in Panama City? And this is very common today. If you ask a question, you're probably going to see an AI overview. Then maybe you'll see some Google PPC, like sponsored ads. Then you'll see the Google Map Pack. Then you're going to see this box here, discussions and forums. This is public Facebook groups and Reddit threads. This is that Reddit thread. So effectively on page one of Google, because he had the most number of comments and upvotes. So Reddit is incredibly powerful, not only for AI, but even page one of Google. Now, I didn't mention Facebook groups, but public Facebook groups are in here as well. And so you'll find these opportunities where somebody's asking, and there's a group here in Upton. It's a friends and family group, and people ask, hey, it snowed here, I need a plow guy, or I'm selling my house. What agent do you recommend? So these opportunities exist. You're probably already aware of them. Maybe you even manage some of these Facebook groups, but maybe you didn't know that it's being fed into Google. It's also being read by AI. Okay. Oh, a couple more things on Zach, because I knew he was a AgentFire client. So yeah, who's the top agent? He's in the AI overview. Great placement. It's not only because of Reddit. It's all of these things in conjunction. I want to be clear on that. You can't just do one of the things I'm talking about here today. You've got to do it all. And when it's all working in concert, you can influence the answers and areas. And
if I could just quickly highlight too,
yeah, please.
Not only are people just more and more using AI instead of Google, but then now Google, just to stay relevant, is like doing AI summaries at the top where you're not even seeing the results until you scroll down like half the page. So this is why this stuff is critically important for everyone to understand it, especially really good agents and teams, because you could be the best agent in the world. You could have, at 10,000 transactions and 10 billion lifetime transaction. And if you don't have that anywhere online or any authority sort of pointing to that, you don't exist on ChatGPT. You literally don't exist in the places where virtually everyone is going to be
you are invisible
in the next couple of years.
I talked to an agent last week, and before I got on the call, I'm doing the pre-call stock, one Zillow review, a handful of transactions, like, okay. And I talked to him. He has 3,000 transactions across his career. Like, man, you are invisible because the machines only can read what's, he's like, I know I've done a terrible job with reviews. I now know they matter. So we're going to do our best to help him out. But yeah, I want to keep plugging. Make sure Zillow is updated. It's very common that not all your transactions are there, and make sure you're asking for those reviews. They've been important for a while, but they've never been more important. And one more thing on Zach here. This is a kudos to you, Nelson. I wanted to share this. This is his traffic graph from Google. We started working with him, I think I want to say it was December. We started to publish content on his behalf. typically, and I want everybody to be aware of this, just because you start publishing content, do not expect organic traffic day number one. What's going to happen is first, when you publish content, it's probably not going to index. I mean, Google's not looking at it. It's not in its index. It's a live link. Direct traffic can land there, but it is not in these search engines because the crawlers probably aren't coming to your website unless you're actively publishing content. And even if you're publishing content, if it's duplicate content or unhelpful content, the crawlers aren't coming. Right? There's a budget, a legitimate budget that Google allocates to websites. So if you're not publishing often, this process can take 90 plus days before you start to see the uptick in impressions and clicks. Here, this happened quick. Now, I could take some credit, I guess, because our content's so good, but usually this is a testament to the platform that they're on. We work with every provider you've ever heard of. Some are okay. Most are good. I would say AgentFire is fantastic. So, kudos to you, Nelson, on building a great CMS. You're welcome.
Thanks.
And here's a little bit of his growth too. Just comparing the last 90 days to the previous 90, you can see before FlyDragon, 60 organic visits in those 90 days. Not a lot of clicks. In the last 90 days, almost 500. The number I really like is this though, his average position. So his average position on Google was page 3, page 4 of Google, like just buried in the SERPs. Now his average position is page 1, position 10 or 11, give or take. So yeah, again, just wanted to say, good platform you built.
Thanks.
All right, national PR. It's the other one I want to talk about. Press releases. I don't know if you know this. Now, any press is good press, and that should live on your website as well. If you've been featured in press, you should build out a press page, link to it there. It gets breadcrumbs leading AI back to you. But you can also pay for placement. And so what we do, we stack proof. So you got the best this example here, this agent in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We have that best agent page or best realtor page. That's a first party mention, right? It's a page on our website. What you can sort of see in the background is a press release. The structure is very similar against the proof points. The only difference is where that information lives. So we write the press release, just like we did the best realtor page. Then we go get that picked up by a PR vendor. There's EIN Presswire, PR Presswire. There's probably dozens if you just Google, paid press releases, or you can even Google paid press releases for real estate. Some of them are, maybe $50 every time you run one. Some could be 500, if not even 1,000. The main difference there is who's picking up these press releases. So if the websites that are going to feature this have more authority, more traffic, that's a better backlink for your website. You're going to pay for that. So Access Newswire is an example, more than $500 for a press release, but they're super powerful. They do influence the answers. So it's worth it. I would not abuse it. I would say at best once per quarter, because it can come off as spammy if you do this, and we don't want to hurt your domain. So I'd say once every quarter. Yeah, you could do one who's the best real estate agent, but also think of anytime you have a career milestone. Hey, just achieved 25 years, my 25th year anniversary selling homes, or maybe it's some an amazing listing that you wanted to feature, something about the team, something that's newsworthy is fit for a press release. So you're getting your information. Go back to that Whitespark survey, that third party mention. You're getting mentioned on websites with a lot of authority. Think of that as an upvote of confidence. This website that the machines trust already is saying, hey, you should trust this website because I'm pointing back to this agent. Hopefully that makes sense. And this example, that Douglas Lake example, this video is going to go quick, but Caitlin Warren is the agent. So she's in the answers, and there's 2 citations here. I'll hit play again. So you ask who's the best realtor on Douglas Lake. It's citing that best realtor page that I recommend everybody create in a press release. It's not the only citations, right? It's not the only sources of that information, but those are the 2 strongest ones that ChatGPT said. Based on what I'm reading here, the answer is Caitlin. Okay, tying it all together. Look at that, almost on the hour here. So here's how it all should be connected. So number 1, we started with your presence. Claim those profiles, clean up the information if it's not accurate, it's outdated. Have that machine-friendly bio everywhere, including your website. Think about semantic triples. Then you need to build topical authority on your website with the pages that I suggested you create using the prompts that I just gave away to you today. And lastly, think about your off-page authority. What are other websites with reputation saying about you or not saying about you? When all this works, in conjunction together, that equals a lot of organic traffic and a lot of AI citations. So that's how you take advantage of this gold rush that quite literally is here today. That's how you become the agent that AI recommends.
Yeah, just a quick recap. I'll be sending a replay email in the next. I'm traveling right now, so it's going to take me a couple days, but I have to send it myself. But the all the full video slides, all the links Tim mentioned. Tim, if people want to hire FlyDragon, what's that look like?
Yeah, so you can book a call with me directly. My Calendly link is embedded on my website. It's goflydragon.com. I think I saw somebody drop it in. I could drop it in as well. Book a time on my calendar if you're interested in just having somebody do it for you. And I'll connect you on a call. What we do on that call, as I find the link here.
Okay, Hogan is already doing it, buddy. He's already like, I'm on. See you.
All right, Hogan, I'll see you there. So we're going to go through it together. There'll probably be a shorter call because a lot of what I just covered here, I'll cover, but I can reiterate it. But I'm actually going to dig into your website. What's on there today? Who are the competitors? Where are you in all these different AI models today? What do you look like on Zillow and Fast Expert? And kind of give you my recommendation on like where the starting point makes the most sense. Again, we want to deliver the best and fastest ROI as possible. So that kind of dictates what the strategy recommendation would be.
I love that. And Eric, what's up, Eric? The pricing is on the site too, so you can see the different pricing.
Yeah, with 3 different tiers, starts at $7.99 per month. That's tier 1.
Perfect. I love this, dude. This is
Appreciate
great.
it.
We need to
Appreciate
do more of these. These are great.
Yeah,
always
this
happy
is
to.
maybe one of my favorite webinars. I love webinars where it's I hate webinars where you're kind of like held hostage and then you have to like pay for something to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm a huge fan of just sharing the secrets and selling the implementation.
Yeah.
I'll mention too, there was a couple questions that came in. I'll mention too, maybe if you guys want to check out AgentFire, you can book a demo on the site. We have really good.
I was going to
AEO.
show Nelson.
Yeah.
I was going to show what you guys built for us because
Oh,
I
yeah,
have a question for Tim.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Tim, we just started a national brokerage. We're tiny right now, right?
Mhm.
But it's called Y Realty because everything starts with Y. Video, you see stuff on the side, great. We opened Florida. We're working on this one to add it, but we're making it interactive. All this great stuff. And by the way, his team, your team,
Yeah.
buddy, Nelson's team, absolutely insane. Now I have a question for you, Tim. If I'm going back to here and you're
Mhm.
looking at the places, because remember, it's a national brokerage. We're open in 4 states. Where do you think we should gravitate to when it comes to the right content so that we're getting found on AI?
Yep.
Because
So you're just going to go to goflydragon.com, book a, no, I'm just kidding.
there it is. Yeah,
So this is interesting. It does happen. We working with national brands where they have offices in multiple locations. What I would do, so I mentioned that semantic content network, I would build out a separate one for each location, right? You could nest it on the site similar to, I think most agents have, communities. The nesting matters. Like how many clicks does it take to get, going back to the point I made about the hierarchy of the website. So maybe it would be based on state. So you've got California. If you have multiple locations in California, that drop down leads to, this city and that city.
Interesting. So Nelson, we're gonna have to meet with Tim and then come back to your team and be like, okay,
I hope I didn't create work for you, Nelson.
we got this.
Yeah, no, we're actually working with Tim right now to figure out, because we have this whole area guide system. We've got
Yes.
content magic. We're trying to reformulate all of our stuff to just better automatically handle a lot of the AEO stuff. So,
Yeah, well, look on the area guide that you build out. By the way, everyone here should have an AgentFire site because,
thanks, Tristan.
dude,
They're beautiful.
I don't care who's out there. Remember, we test everything in lab coats. There's nobody better than you. Look at this area guide section that you're talking about, Tim. If I'm going to expand further and I want to go to the desert region, right?
Mhm.
You're saying let's build this out further because look at all of these. Like I can go to
Yeah.
San Bernardino, and what does that look like? That's where we want to build it out further, right? That's why
Yeah.
we can talk to you.
And what you can do here, because obviously you have blogs in the blog role, what I would recommend on these pages, they're beautiful pages, Nelson, your team's doing a great job, is the copy itself, right? So the words on the page matter. So if it was, homes for sale in San Bernardino, this is usually where we see where we can improve a website that, you know, they have a website from whatever provider, and then maybe you'll have the IDX on the page, maybe a paragraph or two. But we want to beef that up. We want to extend the copy on that page, add a few H2 heading 2 sections, expand on that page. It's more likely to rank.
Perfect. All right, dude. Well, we'll be talking to you. Nelson, great
All
job
right.
on building one of the best products out there, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Tristan.
Listen, that's why we went to you for the whole nation. So we're gonna build this out with you.
Yeah, we're
Tim,
excited.
this rocked, buddy. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
And everybody
Thank
else,
you,
thank
everybody.
you. Great comments.
Tim,
The
Tristan,
replay
thank you.
will go out with the docs, with the discounts. If you do want to join AgentFire, it'll be on there. And then we'll also put a link for Tim so that you can visit him and talk to him and then sign up. Great combo.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you,
time.
guys. Appreciate it. This was great.
Thank y'all.
Tim, Tristan, thank you. See you guys.